Hello! I'd love to walk you through a project I'm really proud of, called ACS Control. This was one of those really challenging, hands-on experiences where I got to take a pretty complex problem and design a simple, elegant solution. So let's dive in. So, the whole thing started with a very common problem for clients with high-end home automation. They have all this incredible, super sophisticated equipment, but they're literally drowning in a sea of remote controls. It's just a mess, it's confusing, and it completely undermines the luxury experience they paid for. And the solution? Well, it's actually beautiful in its simplicity. You take that whole pile of remotes and you distill it all down into one single, intuitive interface on an iPad. The mission was clear: deliver clean, simple, total control right at their fingertips. This is where I came in. I was brought on by ACS Home Theater to tackle this exact puzzle. Their clients all had these unique, super complex setups, and the company needed a seamless interface that could be customized for each one. My job was to design that solution and basically bring some order to the chaos. Okay, so with the problem crystal clear, my first step was to really define the path forward. I needed to break down this big, complicated puzzle into concrete design goals and figure out the key challenges I'd have to solve to make this thing a success. So what is ACS Control exactly? At its heart, it's a completely custom iPad interface. It takes all the separate commands from every single device in a smart home, whether it's infrared, Wi-Fi, whatever, and integrates them all into one seamless central control panel. To guide the whole project, I set 4 core goals. Number 1, a fully customizable interface for every client. 2, total integration of everything. We're talking home theater, security cameras, lights, curtains, you name it. 3, get rid of that pile of physical remotes completely. And finally, the most important one, it had to be incredibly simple and just plain intuitive to use. Of course, it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were some big challenges. First, I had to figure out a system to catalog every single unique device for every customer. Then, I needed to design a database to map all of their different commands. I also had to figure out exactly what data we needed to collect to make it all work. And finally, I had to think ahead and plan for future updates and support. Each of these was a huge piece of the puzzle. All right, so with the goals and challenges laid out, it was time for the fun part, the creative process. This is really how the idea went from just a scribble on a notepad to a fully realized system. My design workflow is where it all starts to come to life. For me, every project starts right here, with a good old-fashioned pen and paper. Before I even think about touching any design software, I sketch out the basic information architecture. This lo-fi approach lets me quickly map out the user's journey and structure everything without getting lost in the visual details too early. Then, that simple paper sketch gets an upgrade. It evolves into this formal user flowchart. This thing basically became the blueprint for the entire app. It defined every single screen, every interaction, and made sure there was a logical, user-friendly path from the home screen to controlling any device. For the look and feel, I really drew inspiration directly from the high-end gear this thing would be controlling. I was thinking about those sleek, black piano finishes you see on amplifiers, the cool texture of carbon fiber, the feel of brushed metal. The interface had to feel like it belonged with that premium hardware. To make sure that vision was consistent everywhere, I built a complete design system. This laid out the specific color palette with a really nice, strong accent color, clear typography, and defined styles for all the buttons and gradients. This system was absolutely crucial for keeping everything looking coherent and professional across dozens of custom screens. Okay, so the blueprint was ready, the design system was in place, now it was time to actually forge the final interface. This next part is all about the high-fidelity assets and how all those foundational pieces came together to create the final product you see here. So, to handle all this complexity, I designed a massive library of custom components. I'm talking every single button, slider, icon, and directional pad needed for any device you could possibly imagine. This library not only kept things looking consistent, but it also made building out new custom screens for clients super efficient. And here's where you can see those components really start to sing. This shot shows a bunch of different screens taking shape, from the main menu hub to the really detailed interfaces for controlling things like lighting or an Apple TV. You can immediately see how that consistent design language ties it all together. Let's zoom in a bit. On the left, the main menu. In the middle, a digital version of that Apple TV remote everyone knows. And on the right, custom lighting controls. Users could just tap a preset scene like romantic or cinema to get one-touch ambiance. Simple, clean, and really powerful. The versatility of the system is what I'm really proud of. I designed these tailored interfaces for everything from security cameras and AC to the Blu-ray player. Each screen is unique to the device it controls, but they all feel like they're part of one cohesive system, all thanks to that central design library. Now, my role went way beyond just the visuals. I was involved in the entire deployment process from start to finish. It followed this really clear 7-step workflow, from listing out all the devices and creating the user flow, all the way through to assigning the command strings, loading the package onto the iPad, and, of course, testing everything like crazy before delivery. Now, let's talk about my favorite part of the project, the testing. This was something we couldn't just do on a computer screen. We had to know if it actually worked in the real world, and that led to a very hands-on and, frankly, super exciting approach. I mean, this was honestly the most exciting phase for me. My manager and I literally built a small lab in the office. We had actual electric panels and light bulbs wired up, so every time I tested a button in the interface on the iPad, a real light would actually turn on across the room. It was just an amazing way to get that immediate, tangible feedback. This little lab setup was a total game changer. It let me validate not just the tech, but the entire user experience in real time. I could see and feel the result of every single interaction, making sure that the connection between the digital button and the physical world was absolutely seamless and responsive. This project taught me so much, not just about design and technology, but also about my own ambitions as a designer. It really helped clarify what I'm looking for in the next chapter of my career. Being the solo lead designer on this was a fantastic experience. I really got to wear all the hats, from researcher to developer. And now I'm really eager to bring that holistic experience to a larger, more collaborative team. I'm especially excited to dive deeper into qualitative research and usability testing within a more structured team environment. So I'm ready for my next challenge. I am so passionate about solving these kinds of complex problems and creating experiences that just work for people. I would be absolutely thrilled to bring my skills and my enthusiasm to your team. Thank you so much for walking through this project with me, and I really hope we can chat soon.